I earned every inch of this dirt with blood and sweat and grace. You can fake the papers, you can poison the well, but you'll never erase my face. This is for every targeted woman they try to make disappear. Your greed like a hurricane, listen close, you feel that in the air. Turning home, setting flames, fires, you bring the try to steal my life. They can't steal my dreams. Hi, con artists, welcome. It's another Saturday. It's good to see you. I'm glad we're both awake. We're expecting some snow early this morning. Hi, Nick. Welcome. Welcome. The outside wildlife knows that the weather is going to get bad. I had Foxy out right in front, a possum, 4 raccoons. Hi, Vivian. Welcome. Welcome. You followed me across state lines. Hi, River Bluff. Thought I'd run. Watch me 30 years in Malapan, Jersey go with perfect plans. How's everybody doing? We had some days of weather reprieve. It was warm. Hi, Just Me, Florida. Welcome, welcome. So I packed up everything I loved and drove south to be free, but freedom wasn't far enough. Hi, John. Welcome. Hi, Automat Tech. Welcome, welcome. Device checks. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Oh, you didn't get a notification? Oh, no. You know what I've noticed? Like when I receive the notifications, it's like a few minutes late. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Welcome. Another Saturday night of brainstorming, of gathering. Hello, everybody. Well, it's been an eventful January so far, and you all remember that they stole my pajama bottoms, right, and then returned them. Well, during that time when they were stolen, I decided to go onto eBay and buy a new pair. You know, just the bottoms. You know, you could always use another pair of pajama bottoms. So I bought a pair of pajama bottoms. I have not worn them because then the old ones resurfaced and I bought a whole pair of new pajamas. So I go to grab the pajama bottoms tonight so I can be comfortable sitting here talking to you guys. I put them on, tie them up, and there's holes in the crotch. These losers, I have not even worn these yet, and they already cut holes in the crotch. These people are so sick. Yes, it's absolutely absurd. Yes. Their American Eagle. Yes, a pee through. Well, you know what, Nick, I don't have the same appendages that you do. It's not as easy for me to pee through my pants. But yeah, so they've done it again. Put them on backwards. Yeah, well, that would be the satanic way, right? Let's just do it all backwards. Everything is backwards. Well, it appears as if there are a lot more targeted people in Kentucky. Like in New Jersey, they wouldn't allow them to live so close together. But here in Kentucky, they must be really desperate for the money. So they'll even put somebody, in a town just like 15 minutes from you. I thought the closest TI to me was like an hour away. No, 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 no. They're putting them closer and closer. Got to get those gift cards, got to get those grants. Neighborhood Watch torturing and abusing their neighbors to protect the American heroes. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. I've been watching the news, and I've been watching this new guy who only reports on abusive judges and cops, and it's not one or two anymore. It's like hundreds, thousands. Let's see, they probably posed for a picture with my pajamas out in the woods like they bagged a big buck. Oh, you're so funny. You're so funny. Well, Kentucky is very big on owning bang bangs and pew pews and hunting. So in the local paper, it said something about they're going to propose a new law or whatever to permit bobcat hunting. I mean, a bobcat is just a little bit bigger than Zoomy. It's pretty disgusting. It's like, why would you want to hunt a bobcat? It's not even food. I mean, if they want to hunt something, I've got some nice, big, fat possums on the porch that I can't get rid of. Hi, Mrs. Matson. Yes, I was listening to Celeste Solum. Yes, I only got to watch like one of her videos this week. She put out 2, like, in the same day. One was a really short one, I watched that one, then there was one that was longer. I started to listen to it, and I just didn't have the head for it. You have to be in the mood sometimes to listen to this stuff. Um, and then, I'm on the mailing list for what's her name? Dr. I don't know if I can pronounce her name properly. Anna Maria Micalcia? Mic I think that's it. Heavy metals and microplastics have synergistic toxicity to life. That was January 4th. She sent that around. Yes, yeah, so the short one, yes. She has some really good stuff. And, she's been talking about this for years, for decades. And she seems like such a sweet woman, too. She lives on a farm. I love that she calls it the celestial report. Well, I have a lot of new books. No, she's not that she I think she's older than me. I think she's a little bit older than me, but yeah, she looks great. She looks great. She lives a really good lifestyle, natural. She lives on a farm. I'll be right back. I'm boiling water for hot cocoa. We are addicted to addicted to pop-ups. Okay, I am back. Let's see. It's very scary, and there are other YouTube creators talking about some of what she discusses. I have to be in the mood to listen to it. I feel like life on this planet Earth, and especially being a targeted person and eyes wide open. There's just so much I can watch and ingest. And then, of course, I've got some cyber stalkers that are nutso. They're crazy. I don't want to be surrounded by craziness. I really don't. I didn't grow up in crazy. I didn't have crazy friends. I grew up in like normal. So this is like an alter reality for me that I don't want to be in. I didn't choose it. I don't like it. I don't like any part of it. You should see what they've done to my property. It's off the charts. Oh, and I'll just say it for the record. I know who the primary perpetrator is here in Jackson County, Kentucky. Aside from all the neighbors and the county lawyer and the sheriff's department, you read in the scriptures that says that we win. Keep being brave and bold. Okay, well, I'll keep being brave and bold and annoying. I do not consent. Has it ever made me question my sanity? No. No, it has not. It has not. Because I have to tell you, like, first of all, like back in New Jersey, like my mother believed me. My friends believed me. They saw what was happening to my house. My daughter saw what was happening to the house. This was not something that like I conjured up. Like everybody that I was friendly with who'd known me saw what was going on. They didn't understand how it was happening. They didn't understand why it was happening, just that it was. So no, no, I never doubted my sanity at all. What I cannot stand is how groups of people want to alter your reality. They create a new reality for you by inserting their insanity, destroying the property, and employing like county officials. Evil, just pure evil. Well, thank you very much. I pray for all of us. This has to stop. It has to be exposed. People need to be talking about it more. And there are a lot of YouTube creators that are talking about not so much as a targeted, but talking about the unreality of what's happening in the US, the unreality, what's happening around them, the things that they're seeing with the animals acting bizarrely, their wildlife, their trees acting weird, things happening to them. So people are talking about what's happening in the environment, what's happening with the weather, what's happening in the earth, but they're not talking about it as being like targeted. They're not talking about it as being directed at them particularly. They're talking about it as affecting the environment. Let's see. Do you think that they may have been stalking you before you realized that they were there? Are you referring to here in Kentucky or like cumulatively like back in New Jersey? Like here in Kentucky, I moved here in May of 2019. I didn't know anybody. So there wasn't even anybody I was talking to other than the UPS guy and the Federal Express guy. And then, of course, my sorry ass neighbor next door introduced himself to tell me where my property began and ended. You have large stereo speakers in your room. They're not yours. Books on your shelf aren't yours. Are they doing that? Oh my goodness, that's like really, that's a psyop. That's a psyop. I mean, the one thing I have to say is I have never had anything brought into my house by these losers that wasn't mine. But what they do is they will mail me things. They will send me things through Amazon with my name on it that I never ordered. They study a person for years and you don't know it. I believe that. I definitely believe that. You should have hooked up with my sorry ass neighbor. No, 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 no. No, if you saw my sorry ass neighbor, you would absolutely disagree. You would definitely disagree. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Like before this live stream started, I had to go close the gate. I was going to do it earlier. And then on my porch, I've got the fattest, the biggest, chubbiest possum. And he keeps eating all the food. Hi, Elsie. He keeps eating all the cat food. And then the outside cats come up to me. They're looking like so sad, like, where's the food? So I put out more food. I cleaned everything up, put out more food. The cats start eating it. And then the big fat possum comes back, pushes them aside, tips the bowl over, throws food all over the place. Let's see. You're wondering if they may have actually been stalking me prior to my property situation. Is it something you may have started in your profession? Something that I refused in my profession. Well, it's really interesting that you say that because, and we probably all do this. we think back to a moment where, you might have pissed somebody off, there might have been, somebody disgruntled, something, but now I'm definitely going back to around 2009 and definitely 2010. Originally, I thought it was 2012, but 2010, 2009, I was really heavily, heavily into astrology. I was attending conferences and lectures and I was getting some notoriety. I spoke at the Federation for American Federation for Astrologers in Arizona on 3 topics. And then before that, like, I wrote some articles for astrology magazines and stuff. So, um, there was one person in New Jersey that accused me, and of this guy, he and his mother had been in business in Red Bank for decades. But he was accusing me of taking his clients. And I thought, what is he nutso? So, I had like groups of people harassing me that were astrologers for sure, on Facebook. And when I had my lunar notes mailing list, evidently, like, I shared some of the same clients as this guy. I mean, of course, you're going to, because that's what people do. When they're going to an astrologer, they'll go to one, they'll go to another one, and we're all kind of in the same area back in New Jersey. I mean, it certainly could have been him. He was a nasty guy. Every time I walked in his shop that I did frequent, he was just always very nasty to me. It's that kid who wanted to date me in high school. You wouldn't go out with. Well, it's very possible. I've thought long and hard about that, Nick, because this guy, I mean, who knew that, he would end up staying in the military for as long as he did? And then he friended me on Facebook and then unfriended me, was really nasty. And then after listening to Kay Griggs' interview about how they're immature, how they're brainwashed, how they hate women, how they're taught to think of their wives as the enemy. Now I'm thinking, like, you know what? It could have been that guy, but maybe because I was mostly in a relationship. I was in a 7-year relationship, and then I dated, and then I met my ex-husband, and that lasted a long time. And then, you know, when you're out of relationships, it's very possible that the ex comes back with his gang stalking friends and starts in all over again. So I did notice though that whenever I was in a relationship, like a long-term relationship, I wasn't experiencing anything like that, any weird stuff like that. But I also believe that there could be overlapping, and I'm gonna just put it out there. So, I mean, let's say, like, you live a long life and you can piss off, like, any number of people in your lifetime. So let's say, there's the guy that you don't wanna date in high school, right? And then, years go by, you become, proficient in pissing people off. And then let's say you piss somebody off, like in your 20s or 30s. Why did I dump my ex? That is a good question. Well, my ex was a rebound. I'm going to flat out and say I was not in love with my ex-husband. It was really weird. And then I think back, it's like, was he like a honey trap or something? Because he would just always show up wherever I was in New York City. It was really weird, my ex-husband. I met him first in a bar, and by the way, I don't drink, but I met him in a bar, and he was always drinking. And actually, he was talking to me in this bar. It was called Griff's, and we would all hang out there. Me and my friends, we worked in an advertising agency, so we would go to this place, Griff's, on Friday night and just hang out there. And then it was my ex-husband was there all the time, but he was by himself. So I assumed he's single until one day his live-in girlfriend shows up, taps him on the shoulder and says, she turns to me, she says, "Excuse me, ladies, I'm taking him home." And I'm like, oh my goodness, like he's living with somebody. So, so that was the end of that, like, I didn't wanna talk to him anymore, but then I moved, and, I would come out of the subway, walk down, you know, down to go to work, the advertising agency, and I would see him walking in the other direction. We'd always, like, pass each other approximately the same time, not every day, but almost every day because I was on a schedule. I was going to work the same time every day, and evidently he was. And I thought that was weird. But then I left that job and went somewhere else. So we were not crossing paths anymore. But then at my new job, I was hanging out with this girl, Isabel, and we were doing all crazy stuff together. We go to uh, a street. What do you call them? The Italian festival. And we're walking in the Italian festival and walking and walking, and you can't miss my ex-husband because my ex-husband is 6'5", so he's very tall. So Isabel and I are walking, and like coming towards me is like my ex-husband. Again, it's like I keep bumping into this guy, and we just kind of nodded to each other, and then it was at the same company. This was a real like an arbitrage realtor company. And then we start going out on Friday night to another place. And it was called Ryan McFadden's. And at Ryan McFadden's, I'm hanging out with my friend Kathy. And my ex-husband comes up to me and he says, "Hi." He says, "You," and it's like this is the same guy, like, over, like, a period of 2 years, I keep bumping into. So, you start thinking, "Oh, maybe it's kismet, maybe I'm supposed to be with this guy." So we start talking and stuff, and, uh, and then he says, "Well, give me your phone number, I'll give you a call." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, right," I give him my phone number, I don't hear from him for weeks. So, and then he calls me, we go on a date, and the rest is history. Literally history. So, I really was not, compatible with my ex-husband in a lot of ways, and, he was like a fun guy. We like the same music. I'm gonna sound like Kay Griggs, like, "Oh, we like the same music." We like to, do parties and stuff, but my ex-husband had a drinking problem. So, and, then, actually, the night before we were gonna get married, I think I mentioned this to you guys, the night before we get married, my maid of honor and, my bridesmaid, we go out to Ryan McFadden's. This is like my last single night, So we go out dancing, and, I start dancing with this guy, and my maid of honor says, she pulls me aside, she says, "You know who that is that you're dancing with?" I think yeah, he might have been a honeypot. Is that weird? Why would they set me up with somebody like him? It was so like, yes, it was very bizarre. I kept bumping into him like wherever I went. So I said to Kathy, she says, "Do you know who that is that you're dancing with?" And I look at him and I look at Kathy and she says, "That's the Footloose guy." And I look at him and then the guy, I think he overheard her and he's looking at me. I'm looking at her and I'm like, I don't know, like, and then he asked me to go back to his penthouse. And I'm thinking, maybe it is the Footloose guy. But I declined and I said, I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm getting married tomorrow. So it was weird. Oh, oh, you saw that, Nick. The expression on my face in that photo is priceless. Yes. Kathy and I still talk about that photo because I I told her that I think I'm making a mistake. That's what I said to her. Like, this is on my wedding day. Like, I'm wearing all my little pretty clothes and my makeup and the photographer's there. taking pictures of us, and Kathy's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and I turned to her and I said, "I think I made a mistake." And she looks at me like, "What?" And my ex-husband, he, like, pretty much, he is drunk out of his face on our wedding day. Like, we could not even find him. We couldn't even find him. He was, like, walking around on the, we're getting married near a golf course on Long Island, and, yeah, he got drunk out of his face, and that was what my life was going to be like for the next 14 years. Yeah, so, he liked to drink too much, and I don't drink at all, so it was very weird, very bizarre. So that's yeah, I finally divorced him. I told him I was gonna divorce him. He didn't believe me. We had, like, an argument one night. I said, "You know what? One day, I'm going to divorce your ass." And he just laughed at me, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." But when I say something, I'm gonna do it. And it just took a few years, that's all. So, yeah. So that's why I divorced my ex-husband. I should not have married him. He was a rebound. Let's see. Found a very interesting thing recently. The Scientology Church is a base here in New Mexico. They have two circles making the Vesica Pisces drawn into the land with a single diamond in the middle of each. Really? They have two circles. Oh, drawn into the land with a single diamond in the middle of each. A diamond. Is that their is that their logo? That's so funny. Yeah, you don't need to drink. You're already bubbly. Yeah, I don't like to drink. I didn't grow up with parents that drank, so it wasn't something that I grew up with. You post this in your post section. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, okay, and then Joe, could you give us the link so everybody can click on it? And if anybody has a YouTube channel, you can post the link to your channel. And con artist, I was watching that video that you posted recently. I mean, it was just so long, I had to stop, but I was listening to it before bed, and I was like, I want to continue watching this. It was just fascinating. Everything is based on Q, psychological camouflage and psychological analysis of the targeted individual. Scientology is evil. I'm sorry. It's like that's an evil. It's a cult. I think of it as a cult. Let's see. All you targets, watch the drinking. Don't do it. You will almost certainly get a DUI because you're being monitored. That's a good point. What I've noticed is these cop auditor channels and stuff. You don't even have to be drunk to get a DUI. I mean, I recently watched one where the cop pulls over this autistic. The guy's obviously autistic, and he's with his son. And the police officer is accusing him of drinking because of the way his speech, his mannerism, because he's autistic. Yes, yes, Nick. And you know about that field sobriety test? I heard that because of the electromagnetic fields around us, that most people will fail that field sobriety test. when they ask you to walk, on a straight line or whatever, that a lot of people will fail that just because of the electromagnetic fields around us. And I would imagine that a lot of targeted people who have tinnitus, if you have tinnitus, that could certainly be the case. Yeah, so cop pulled over this autistic man, harassing him unmercifully. And then the autistic guy was wetting his pants because he does that sometimes. And then the cop is mocking, literally mocking him about it. Just absolutely horrible. I don't know what's wrong with these guys. They're just bullies. They were probably bullied as children. They grow up, they say, "Well, you know what? I don't want to be bullied anymore. I want to be the bully. What kind of job can I get where I can be the bully? Oh, and take steroids and not get penalized for it." I think a lot of these cops, the really angry ones that are beating people up, I think that it's a negative side effect of whatever drugs that they're taking. They have an authoritarian complex. Well, and also, I've said this before, if you're a parent, right? You're raising your children. If you don't discipline your children, if they're doing something wrong and they're not disciplined, they're not suffering the consequences of their actions, they're going to continue doing it. Amy, hi Amy. I think I started to watch that. The above is a 4-hour plus interview of Dr. Jack Kruse, who explains the big picture of what's going on in the USA and where things are headed. Great info. Well, Dr. Rima Lebeau years ago moved out of the United States. Yes, yeah, the steroids are really bad. Very, very bad. And these guys are young and they're taking them now, but I'll tell you, like, they will drop dead early. There was a guy at the gym in New Jersey. He was a bodybuilder and he was an attorney, and he was taking steroids. And people would tell him, you got to stop, you got to stop. Well, he didn't stop, and he suffered a massive heart attack, and he died. And he was only in his, I think, he was in his 40s or 50s at the time. He was perfectly healthy otherwise, but he continued to take the steroids so that he can compete in the bodybuilding, and it ended up killing him. And that's what's going to happen to these cops. They're going to take these steroids. Now they're only in their 20s and 30s, but wait till they get to their 40s and 50s and they're on the beat and they go to run somewhere, they're going to drop dead. They're all going to drop dead. And if they took the jab, well, I'm not going to say it. I can't say it here. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. The steroids are really, really bad. In addition to the fact that the steroids today are not like they were a dozen years ago. So they never know if they're going to get something bad, really bad. Then the mind control is playing a huge role. I believe that. Yeah, I do. Let me take this open in a new tab. You knew a guy who took steroids, brain aneurysm, put him in a wheelchair. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at your link, Joe. That looks like it looks like a crop circle or something, right? It almost looks like a landing site. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Very interesting. It's an airstrip. Uh, the Lion Man of Christ says, if you are a danger to them in any way, you will be discredited. The neighbors will be told crude things about you. They do not want you to ever be in a place of power. Oh, the poor little babies, the little weenies, the little weenies. Oh, well, they've done that. I mean, I when I moved here, I didn't know anybody. So how could they know anything about me unless they were told a whole pack of lies? So they slandered me to the local veterinarian so that she doesn't take appointments for my cats, the ones that are being dumped here that are pregnant. They lie about everything. And then I've got here the now let me just pull it up here because I we don't have this in New Jersey. They're called let me just pull it up here. Um 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 um. Okay, one of the offenders who is authorizing the destruction of my property is the magistrate in Jackson County, Kentucky, serves as a representative in the county's governing body known as the fiscal court. They participate in legislative functions, oversee county operations, and address community concerns during meetings. They're elected representatives serving on the county fiscal court. They approve the county budget, pass ordinances and regulations, and adopt resolutions regarding county government operations. Yeah, so our magistrate, the piece of little shit, uh, Mr. Todd, Danny Todd. You can't find him anywhere. There's no photo of him anywhere. He's not on Facebook. There's no way of contacting him. He doesn't have an address. He doesn't have a phone number. He doesn't have an email address. And he's the one that is authorizing and telling the road crew to destroy my property. Let's see. Amy saw a notebook at a friend's house where they were all gossiping and slandering you. They had left it out while I was staying with them. Oh, they wanted you to see it. Hi, good evening. Hi, Amy. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Cave Scout. Welcome. Yes, they are cowardly narcissists. Oh well, I was on Facebook a little while ago before starting here, and I wanted to see um how long I've had my Facebook page for this group for this town. And I started it back in 2021. And it was weird because I noticed that somebody else created a group for Jackson County. And it was like a year and a half after I started the group for this town. And the only reason I started it was because there wasn't one when I moved here. And I thought, how is it that they don't have a Facebook page? Oh, hi, Amy. Welcome, welcome. I thought I saw you. So, how are you guys doing? Yes, we have two Amy's in the chat. Yes, yes. So you took the notebook and you copied it. Not that I would do anything with it, but they were worried. Well, good. Well, because taking that notebook, you see what they were writing about you. I mean, it's a fact. I don't really live close enough to anybody to for that to happen, for me to overlook or oversee something that anybody's doing. Well, I see that there are 20 thumbs up and 40 people listening. Is it cold in southern Arizona? Let's see. It's the oh, history. Oh, absolutely, history repeats itself. You clicked on that link to listen, and I'm back. Okay, okay, gotcha. Divorce seems to be a trigger for getting into this program, to be nominated in the program. And it kind of makes sense because, one, divorce lawyers are probably one of the only lawyers that actually knows your complete balance sheet. In order to calculate child support and dividing assets and stuff like that. You have the AC on. Well, it's been fairly warm here too. Like it's been in the 50s, but the temperature is going to drop a little bit tonight. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to participate in the chat. You can just sit back and listen. I have a whole bunch of books that I could read. I have all these new books. I haven't had an opportunity to like really get into them. You have a wood stove up there in Illinois. The wood stoves are great because they stay hot for a long period of time. I notice that with my cast iron pans. When I use them, they stay hot for such a long period of time and distribute the heat evenly. If I use like a regular, like a stainless steel, not necessarily the case. They cool off faster. It was when your furnace was destroyed, you had to be replaced. Oh, that's horrible. Yes. While all of the warriors were gone to war, the cowards left in control betrayed the country. That's a good point. It's a good way of viewing it. I'm just going to walk away from the screen for a minute to go get my hot cocoa. Remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Let's see. I'm going to go look through my books and see what I would like to read to you guys. Oh, it is a disgrace. It absolutely is a disgrace. For them to do a woman as yourself like this is a disgrace. Very cowardly. Oh, did the creepy voice start? Oh no. Oh no. Creepy voice is back. Oh, the show is lagging. It does that sometimes on my end too, but it could be either, on your end or my end. It does. It shows what kind of sick and evil people they are. And it also proves, it absolutely proves that I'm being surveilled because my watch was new. I only had it a few weeks. And how would anybody know that I have a watch and where it was located in my house unless I'm being watched 24/7? Oh, you learned from Dr. Jack tonight that all of the big players in Silicon Valley are under MK Ultra. Okay, that's good to know, con artist, that it's not lagging on your end. It seems okay on my end, but every once in a while I've seen that the live chat will be stagnant and then suddenly scroll. Well, I guess they want to get rid of all the good people so then all the bad people can be left behind and they could all kill each other off. Well, what they've probably done is they've collected the DNA on all of us, and they figure, you know what, if we really mess up badly, like if our social experiment didn't work and we killed off all those good people, we'll just create some clones, which won't work in the end anyway, because the clone will never be like the real person. It's probably your fault because they love you. That's funny. Well, I think it's very sick we don't have the laws in place to protect anyone from anything anymore. And these are mad scientists. And it's the military. The military is gets billions of dollars in funding every year. Nobody questions them. There's no audits. There's no accountability. And they just do whatever they want, experiments, whatever it is, they just do. Let's see. Thank you, Connors. A caregiver signed out her shift using your phone while at a grocery store. Signs of severe hacking afterwards. And you know what? I think that there is people are desperate, people are mind controlled, people are taking a lot of pharmaceutical drugs, are not going to think clearly. What was that 3D printed meats exposed in Campbell's soups? Oh my goodness. Ugh, that's disgusting. Hi, Techno Kid, welcome. Years ago, you placed a hidden camera near your room at your mother's house and caught her husband walking towards it and smiling, but never looking directly at it. He knew. How would he know? Good point. Good point. But we're the crazy ones, right? Hi, SDL, welcome. I've figured out, after all of this time, finally, that they call the truth tellers crazy because they don't want the rest of the world to know what's really going on. They want people to stay stupid and ignorant and blind, deaf, dumb, and blind. Yes, Amy. It's a combination of nefarious actors working together. We're all being dumbed down from food, water, air we breathe. Oh, I know, it's horrible, SCL. Yes, classic projection. Yes. Well, our society, we are breeding narcissists. And we're breeding narcissists through, in my opinion, through pharmacology. Social media, pharmacology. I mean, I've never seen so many when I watch, these little videos. I mean, they're so cute and everything, but it's really something when animals go and look at your dash cam in your bedroom or your bathroom because the animal or your child knows that it's there. Yeah, they work in tandem with the FBI and CIA. Yep, yep. You're getting yanked and tugged out right now, making it difficult to type at the moment. Yeah, Homeland Security. I mean, again, another oxymoron. Homeland Security. They're doing a great job protecting the homelands. I don't know. They haven't stopped one mass shooting, um, one assassination attempt. They haven't prevented anything. It is laughable. What a waste of money. Just such a waste of money. I don't know if you have a bath, STL. If you have a bathtub, you try to get into the bathtub. Get some Epsom salt baths with baking soda. Imagine like going to work every day and you're a member of a hive mind team, and you have to sit in a room and watch all of these monitors and watch people like you and I. I mean, how sick, how pathetic. Let's see, based on its leader, do they really want to thwart any threats? I don't know who actually runs Homeland Security. Do we know? Yeah, exactly. If they want something to do so badly, why not go fight on the front line in Russia? Exactly. Yeah, I was running out of Epsom salt. I had to get some more. I used to think like just getting in the tub with like a little bit of Epsom salt, like a cup, was okay. But then I was listening to Look Out for Charlie, one of his very old videos, and he said to use like 4 cups of Epsom salt. It's like 3 pounds of Epsom salt. Yep, we have to create a problem that didn't exist prior, quickly extinguish that problem because we created it after all, and then take a victory lap to absorb all the praise. Well, what about all these ice people? There are like protests everywhere now about these ice people. I know, I'm just getting so tired of all the news. It's so hard to watch. Well, let's see. I'm gonna look through my books here and see what I should read for you guys. Let's see. You emailed me the post about the fiscal. Oh yes, yes, I saw that. Yes, let me pull that up. Where is it? Oh no, where is it? Let's see. Oh, here it is. Yes, so this is S1071 National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026. Section 1071 789, Section 4201 Research, Development, Test, and Evaluation in thousands of dollars. Cognitive electromagnetic warfare is now on a budget line item, $44,000. Cognitive electromagnetic warfare is now an item on the Research, Development, and Evaluation budget, the National Defense Authorization Act. This is the 119th Congress, 2025 to 2026. So this was authorized. Cognitive electromagnetic warfare. Let's see. Joe says, in hindsight, I used to listen to a lot of music in my vehicles. I would jam out and get into music and, maybe let the head bounce around. I would encounter people also doing the same thing around me, too. Little did I know they were perps mimicking my actions. It's what they do to make you self conscious. Oh, a lot of people are fuming on X and people are now seeing the truth. What are they? I'm not on X very often. What is the discussion? Oh, absolutely. Mimicry is part of it. In fact, I've got a couple of videos on the channel about mimicry. It's a form of mockery. A lot of people who are not targeted are reposting the budget and concerned that it will affect them next. Absolutely, it's going to affect everybody. It's going to affect everybody. It is a form of warfare. Advanced energy weapons used on the Venezuelan soldiers that made them bomb. Oh my goodness, I didn't hear about that. Oh, that's horrible. Oh my goodness. Some people have said if one is not being targeted during this time, they are definitely doing something wrong. Well, it's just unbelievable. There are so many people that are targeted, they just don't know that they are. You know, I could see it in some of the videos online where they start talking about what's happening to them. Oh, the creepy voices in the background. It's probably got a new contract started this year. Maybe that's why we didn't hear about the creepy voice so much the end of the year, because they were renewing the contract. They are trying to teach how to be a witch. That's when they lose their ability to function. Oh, that's interesting, Joe. You notice that the voice sounds like it has gears, like it speeds up and then slows down and becomes intermittent. It's definitely a recording of sorts. The lasers, the triangular glass technology, the camouflage, the mind reading technology, the speed reading, 3 seconds before you think, yes, yes, that's what they do. That's what they do. You know, you can play with them. You can think something and then just do the opposite to screw them up. I've done that a few times when they think that I'm going to be going outside and then I just decide to not go outside. I just turn around and wait. Well, I think also multitasking. I can't help but multitask because there's always something going on here. You know, the animals and stuff. Like even this evening, I thought I'd have like an extra half an hour to get ready for the live stream. And I was just going to close the gate and I look outside and all the water dishes are filthy, like with mud. The raccoons had been here. They ate all the cat food, so the cats were hungry, so I had to start all over again, clean everything up on the porch. These people are going to regret that they ever participated with this evil. I think so at some point. A Lion Man of Christ says, it's my fault, Lorraine. I told you they love me. Reading the chat since you got here late. Let's see. Hi, Tris. Multitasking makes them lose the ability to process. They throw up a lot of the time because of our high functioning minds. Just know that. The question is, are there any veterans on here? Veterans chime in. Okay, thanks, SDL. Thanks for letting me know. I will check. Hardcore Satanists, let's see. They believe that Satan is their savior. Oh yeah, yeah. He's a trickster. Okay, I have it, SDL. Let's see here. I'll post the link in the chat. Oh, hi, Cheryl. Welcome, welcome. Okay, the comment is all veterans should learn the electrical defense science from Space Force. The only downside is exposing yourself to further tactics. Hi, Missy Merge. Welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in, guys. I see there are 40 people listening on the chat and 26 thumbs. Image projection, too. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Let's see, you have a hard time assimilating things like unity and duality. Maybe I will be in search when it's over and learn. Let's see, 22 a day is a disgrace for this country. 22. Well, I'm going to read, let's see. I have not read this book yet. But let's see, I'll just open it up here and read from it. I received a book, The Wickedness of the Wicked Exposed and Defeated, How God Turns the Wicked Schemes into Your Testimony and Subdues Satanic Authorities That War Against Your Destiny, by Timothy Atunnise. He's an Amazon best-selling author. Okay, so I'm on page 14 here. I think I did read some of this. Let's see, Vetskia Pisces represents creation and the womb, balance and divine proportions. Why understanding the origin is crucial to warfare. Victory in spiritual warfare begins with intelligence. You cannot defend what you do not understand. Oh, I'm sorry, you cannot defeat what you can understand. If wickedness is rooted in rebellion, deception, and pride, then your warfare must be rooted in obedience, truth, and humility. If wickedness operates through hierarchy, your prayers must ascend with spiritual precision and authority. If the wicked are strategic, you must be prophetic and discerning. When you know the origins of wickedness, you stop fighting blindly. You begin to strike at its root, not just the fruit. You understand that some battles are ancestral in nature, and some enemies are ancient spirits that have tracked your bloodline for generations. You learn that some forms of oppression are altars crying for vengeance, and some afflictions are demonic repayments for unpaid spiritual debts. Let's see. Something is happening to the world, I think. I feel it's sort of, but might be my paranoia, Amy says. For further research into the Air Force Space Force program, look into SWORD and Astro E. SWORD and Astro E. Satan's throwing them under the bus, but hardcore Satanists don't know that. My ex-work colleague, Satanist, he'd love to die for Satan, even if deceived. Fruit Loops. LOL. This is your call to awaken to the ancient war between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. You are not just fighting people, you are confronting a kingdom. And to expose and defeat the wicked, you must rise as a son of light, armed with the fire of God, the blood of Jesus, and the word that pierces through the darkness. Invisible enemies, visible destruction, recognizing the patterns. The battlefield of life is often littered with ruins, tragedies, and cycles of defeat that have no visible explanation. This is not a coincidence, it's calculated wickedness. Invisible enemies operate with stealth, precision, and supernatural cunning, often targeting the ignorant and unprepared. While their faces may be unseen, their fingerprints are all over the chaos. Yes, and I recently discovered who that unseen face is that's giving orders to destroy my property. Understanding the unseen realm of conflict. Every believer must understand that life is not only lived in the physical, it is rooted in the spiritual. What happens in the seen realm is determined by what has been manipulated in the unseen. Ephesians 6:12 clearly reveals this spiritual hierarchy. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wickedness operates through organized ranks, launching spiritual operations that manifest as physical tragedies, miscarriages, bankruptcy, shame, delay, rejection, and death. Hi, Dale. Welcome. Okay, Conrad says regarding the Venezuelan soldiers, it appears they're using 5G wave active denial systems on them. Nick says life is a fight and struggle. These Satanists are only making it more difficult. That's for sure. Recognizing the fingerprints of wickedness. Invisible enemies are skilled at disguising their operations to look like natural occurrences. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like everything that's being destroyed here is so naturally occurring. A business fails, it's blamed on the economy. A marriage collapses, it's excused as incompatibility. But beneath many of these collapses are patterns, recurring evil cycles that trace back to ancient altars and demonic interference. When the same sickness visits every generation, or when every engagement ends in heartbreak without logical cause, or when someone always falls sick at the edge of a breakthrough, you're witnessing the fingerprints of the wicked. Spirited warfare requires discernment to decode these signs. Well, that's so interesting because when I was going into the doctorate program, they gave me Lyme disease. They did the same thing to my daughter. In her last couple of weeks of university, before her final exams and stuff. It was a pattern. Recognizing the fingerprints of wickedness, invisible enemies, they're skilled at disguising their operations to look like natural occurrences. The Bible says, pharmake 2, the word sorcery in the Bible, it's translated from Greek. Yeah, it's definitely off. Everything is off. When the same sickness visits every generation, or when every engagement ends in heartbreak without logical cause, or when someone always falls sick at the edge of a breakthrough, you're witnessing the fingerprints of the wicked. Spiritual warfare requires discernment to decode these signs. Patterns of destruction as demonic signatures. Wicked spirits operate like spiritual terrorists, using predictable patterns to inflict harm. These include the pattern of almost there, constant near successes that collapse at the edge of a breakthrough. A pattern of repetition, the same tragedy or loss repeating itself in a family line. The pattern of sudden loss, mysterious deaths, sudden illnesses, or unexplained losses without a natural trigger. The pattern of invisible blockage, opportunities arrive, but they always disappear at the last minute. A pattern of night battles, frequent dreams of snakes, sex, or eating indicate invisible contamination and demonic access. These patterns are not mere misfortune. They are spiritual alarms crying out for warfare. Chlorine dioxide. Do I know about chlorine dioxide? What about it? I don't know. I don't know what it's for. I've heard of it, but I don't remember what it's for. Is it a good thing? Joe says, I'm not fear mongering, but I recommend people having at least a month's worth of food and water stashed away. If comfortable becoming acquainted with the Second Amendment, just never bow down to the enemy. Well, I agree. We definitely should have, some food and water stored up, some um, band-aids. What are the three B's? Wait, I think Zoomies at the front door. 1 second. I hear some scratching. Zoomy, is that you? Is that you? It is you. It's you. Okay, I'm back. That was Zoomy at the front door, wanting to come back in. Let's see. Look up the documentary, The Universal Antidote. That sounds so familiar. Let me just copy this. Oops. Let me just go in here. So I just typed in chlorine dioxide into YouTube. And I get a whole bunch of Dr. Berg videos. Let's see. It says, is it safe? Well, I'm going to have to look at this a little further. I'm going to have to look at that further because I remember reading about it like a while ago, but maybe it's something that I need to buy. Search, assist in preparation of chlorine dioxide gas that is sometimes promoted for various health claims, but it lacks robust clinical. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Trish. I'm pretty saddened to see that my best friend since childhood was recording our conversations. I heard this call is being now recorded accidentally after a long 2-hour reunion call. He told me it was bigger than me before he hung up. What does that mean? You recovered in about 15 minutes thanks to Jesus Christ. Believe there's pharmaceutical grade now solution for fish tank cleaning and pond cleaning. Right, right. When I was looking on YouTube just now, let's see, they said for mold toxicity, let's see, what they were like. Okay, it says chlorine dioxide for water treatment as a mouthwash, health benefits, odor eliminator, car deodorizer, formula, mold removal, benefits, tablets, solution benefits. These are all the options on YouTube of videos that were created about it. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. I have used this. I have used this stuff. Now I know why it was familiar. I have used it. Hi, Shadowban. Welcome. Shadowban says, what you just said about the phone call being recorded was just one of the many puzzle pieces. Actually, the first. My best friend of 10 years was one of my gang stalkers for years without my knowing. And then my great awakening happened. They kept trying to get me to admit things about interactions with hard drugs, crime. I'm assuming he had legal troubles. Dr. Vincent Marinkovich was called the mole doctor. He said a person has to not feed the moles. There was a list of foods that I had. He said diet was the key to recovery from mold. What kind of a diet? You have to wonder about the childhood friends and stuff. I mean, I never considered it before. With zero sugar. Well, fruit contains sugar, like natural sugar. I know as you learn more each year, it seems like there are multiple people in on it. And that's why, like, when people ask, like, I go back historically in my past, it could have been any number of people. It could have been multiple people. It could be something cumulative. Right, exactly, Joe. Fruit sugar is different than processed sugar. Stay away from malted products, smoked products. Yeah, I don't eat that stuff. I don't eat meat anyway. Yeah, garlic and onions are good for mold. Yeah, I've been using onions pretty much every day. Your coconut sugar is yummy. I use a lot of honey. I just purchased the monk fruit sugar. I haven't tasted it yet, though. It's supposed to be like 10 times, 3 times sweeter than regular sugar. With the unemployment rate being so high, I would imagine that more and more people will be co opted into joining this disgusting program. Yes, I just purchased the monk fruit sugar. It actually has 0 calories. Let's see, your ex contacted all your email contacts to badmouth you. Oh, you're kidding. That's horrible. Just remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. Xylitol, but it kind of made. Yes, I've heard that about xylitol. Yeah, dates are delicious. Foxy likes dates too. Let's see. We can help the police and overwhelm them. Let the world of homeless and poor know about free gift cards for stalking. Please go to your local police department. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Oh, yeah, those are wonderful. Yes, Manuka honey and organic maple syrup. Well, they're very good. Yes, the police are heavily involved. Yes, they are. They're absolutely in the know. They falsify reports, they turn their body cameras off, they don't accurately report things. I mean, it's just really horrendous what's happened in this country. And now with all these ICE officers everywhere, I heard there are packs of them in New Jersey now too. So let's see on here, on this book, continuing. These patterns are not mere misfortune, they are spiritual alarms crying out for warfare, the role of evil watchers and monitoring spirits. Many believers are unaware that their lives are being tracked by evil watchers, monitoring spirits deployed from covens and altars to spy, report, and coordinate attacks. These spirits study your progress, anticipate your moves, and set traps at key junctures. Numbers 22 reveals how Balaam, though a prophet, was hired to spiritually monitor and curse Israel. Evil watchers today function the same way, speaking incantations, programming delays, and manipulating relationships to collapse destinies. Unless intercepted, their reports to spiritual gatekeepers empower wicked altars to execute judgment against the innocent. Oh, yes, we've got lots of those witchy poos around here, the little covens that hang out in the woods and spread their bitchcraft everywhere. The danger of ignorance and passivity. What you don't confront will continue to conquer you. Ignorance is the greatest ally of the wicked. Many Christians perish not because of weak prayers, but because they don't even realize a battle exists. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. The wicked rely on your passivity. They thrive when you shrug off spiritual attacks as coincidences. They multiply their arrows when you respond with silence instead of warfare. The kingdom of darkness fears those who pray with fire and discern with precision." Awakening to warfare and taking action. The first step to defeating invisible enemies is spiritual awakening. You must ask the Holy Spirit to open your eyes and reveal the forces behind the patterns in your life. Psalm 18:28 says, "For thou wilt light my candle. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness." Once light shines, warfare must begin. Rise in fasting, midnight prayers, and targeted decrees. Expose their hiding places. Nullify their tokens. Send confusion into their camp. Pray like Elijah, who understood that rain only comes after the prophetic confrontation. Let your prayer life evolve from polite conversation to violent confrontation. Declare, every invisible enemy operating behind the curtain of my life be exposed and scattered in the name of Jesus. Take possession of your atmosphere, your home, dreams, mind, and time must be reclaimed from satanic interference. Visible change begins with invisible warfare. Behind every tragedy is either divine testing or demonic tampering. When it's the latter, it must be recognized and resisted. Stop normalizing strange patterns. Refuse to live under invisible oppression. Expose the agenda of the wicked and defeat them at the gate. Because what you expose, you can expel, and what you confront, you can conquer. The destruction ends when discernment begins. Let's see what you're saying. Yeah, avoid protests. I got a theory that protests are data gathering for people who they will round up into FEMA camps, cause stingray, can gather cell phone numbers. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't like those protests. I don't think they're a good idea. Devices of the wicked, how evil plans are conceived. The wicked do not operate randomly. They're strategic, intentional, and often more coordinated than the average believer imagines. Oh yeah, like the little effer here, Danny Todd, the magistrate, hides behind his fiscal court, and he gives orders to the road crew to destroy the property. He gives orders with our tax dollars to destroy the county creek wall, the retaining wall alongside of the county road. Yeah, so he hides in the shadows and gives orders to the road crew to destroy my property, the little piece of fuck. So now that you're exposed, little Danny Todd, you'll be receiving a letter soon. Let's see what you're saying. It. Okay, let's see. The Council of Darkness, spiritual blueprints of evil. Every wicked agenda begins in the invisible realm. Just as God has divine counsels and heavenly strategies, so does the kingdom of darkness. These demonic gatherings occur in realms where unrepentant spirits meet with ruling demons to draw up plans for destruction. Their assignments are issued not from guesswork, but from evil intelligence that observes and monitors human activities. In Job 1 6 12, we see Satan presenting himself before God, not aimlessly, but with a targeted intention against Job. The wicked conceive evil through meetings where they plot death, sickness, delay, financial ruin, marital collapse, and spiritual oppression. These counsels are not random, they're ancient, systemic, and persistent. Demonic downloads, thoughts planted in human minds. The wicked often make use of mental manipulation. That's so funny. Joe says, I just learned that piloerection is another way of saying goosebumps. That's funny. The wicked often make use of mental manipulation. They implant ideas, thoughts, imaginations into the minds of their targets. These are not ordinary thoughts, they are satanic downloads intended to sow seeds of fear, lust, anger, doubt, and rebellion. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5 speaks of casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. These imaginations are not harmless, they are weapons formed in the forge of wickedness. When a believer begins to think like the enemy wants, defeat is only a matter of time. This is why mental purity and spiritual discernment must go hand in hand. The technology of witchcraft, systems of manipulation. Wickedness does not always scream, often it whispers. Witchcraft is one of the most sophisticated devices of the wicked. It uses manipulation, intimidation, and domination as tools to bend people's wills and break their spiritual backbone. Whether it comes through spoken curses, spiritual projections, or charms, or incantations, witchcraft builds invisible cages around the lives of its victims. Oh, and they're trying to do that here in Jackson County, Kentucky, with their bitchcraft everywhere. What makes it dangerous is its ability to blend in with the culture, the religion, the tradition. Many are victims of witchcraft but are completely unaware because it wears a familiar face, a mother, a lover, a spiritual seeker. But every device of witchcraft is ultimately aimed at controlling destinies and frustrating divine assignments. Spiritual surveillance, monitoring spirits and familiar spirits. Before the wicked attack, they gather data. Demonic surveillance systems include monitoring spirits, demonic agents assigned to observe a person's actions, emotions, and spiritual patterns. These spirits report back to higher ranking demons who use the information to design personalized attacks. They know your rising, your falling, your strengths, and your vulnerabilities. They record your conversations, study your habits, and monitor your relationships. Though familiar spirits, they gain generational access using family weaknesses as legal grounds to operate. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge, and nowhere is this truer than in the realm of spiritual surveillance." I'm going to end on that note. And this book is called The Wickedness of the Wicked Exposed and Defeated: How God Turns the Wicked Schemes into Your Testimony and Subdues Satanic Authorities that War Against Your Destiny. Timothy Atunnise. Hi, Jackie. Welcome, welcome. We've only got, and this book is copyright 2025, so it's a fairly new book. So yeah, so we've got a lot of wicked people with they have an agenda to build cages around your destiny. Evil. Imagine somebody wanting to do that to another person. Like, who the hell are they to rule somebody else's life? Yeah, that's probably right. Telecom companies play a huge role in all of this. Right, I've heard that those who refuse the mark, the Bible says, will not be able to buy and sell. Can we purchase that? It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. They love me all right. Let me see if I can find the whole title for you guys. It was bought for me, but I can jump on Amazon. So why is it not popping up here? Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me get this for you guys here. Okay, so I'm posting. This is the full name of the book. Keep her, watch her every move, etc. Lorraine is akin to the female pharaoh. We all know pharaohs had watchers. Weeping Willow said they tried to access her. Oh no. Was that recent, Cheryl? Let's see. So they have this book in the Kindle version and the paperback. So on Amazon, it says, have you ever felt like your life was under attack for no clear reason, like unseen hands were sabotaging your progress, relationships, and peace? What if the delays, losses, and spiritual resistance you face are not random, but calculated assignments from the wicked? The enemy has been scheming, but God is ready to expose, overturn, and defeat every wicked plan against your destiny. Well, that's what's happening here in Jackson County, Kentucky. They're bribing and threatening realtors. They're intercepting phone calls and emails. They're intercepting my emails to people in a position of authority who could be in a position to expose what's happening here in Jackson County, Kentucky. Yeah, so, but I'm on to them now. The recent Celeste video suggests access, biological and synthetic access to our minds. The biometric monetary system. I did see her video, Cheryl, but I was interrupted a few times. I remember having to put her video on hold. Oh, where they slice your fingers. Oh, I'm going to have to go back and look at it. They've done that to me too. They actually cut my nails. They're sick. These are very sick people. They do like little binding spells. They place like binding materials around the property. So anyway, it's just a couple of minutes before midnight. So we're gonna be light worker magnetism, magnet hydrodynamics. This is the magic. Yeah, they're blocking. They, of course, they're banking on me. They're experimenting on me. They don't want me to leave and go to another state, but I will be this year. I will be gone this year. I will be gone from Jackson County, Kentucky, getting the hell out of here because it is sick, depraved lunatics around here, and I cannot stand the local government. Corrupt as hell, evil. I have never lived in such an evil place in my life. The energy is disgusting here. Very horrible around here. Very manipulative. Wait till it all comes back to them. somebody tries to control and manipulate their lives. They have to employ witches to cast spells and binding spells and stuff around here. They're very, very ill. Anybody that has to watch somebody else's life. Yes, the hills have eyes in Kentucky. Oh, thank you for mentioning that, because a subscriber wrote in the comments section that there is a man using a battery operated directed energy weapon on the hill around my property. So I just now have to find this lunatic. He's using a battery operated directed energy weapon on the hill. The laws of karma apply to all. That's why they forget. Exactly. They forget that they think that just because whatever they're doing is being applauded by whom they're reporting to, but karma is going to get them. Well, the curb appeal, location to location, they have destroyed my property. You have no idea what they have done. You have no idea what they have done to this property. And this county is going to pay because little Bobby Edwards, the PVA office who stole $1,500 in taxes, and this little Danny Toddley who can't show his face, can't contact him, no phone number, no address. With Kentucky tax dollars, instructs the road department to destroy the county creek, the retaining wall, the road, the waterways. What a little piece of crap he is. But he's only doing it on my property, not anybody else's. And he's hiding in the shadows. I know, Amy. It's horrible what they do. Play sports and play musical instruments if you can. Well, I don't play a musical instrument, but I listen to music. I don't have a musical instrument, but I listen to others play on YouTube. Let's see. It changes the human genome and there's no reversing it. I'm sure. I'm sure. But anyway, guys, it's midnight. And I'm going to be signing off. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining in and for all of your good, newsy information. And remember to hit the thumbs up on the way out. And remember that you are not alone. And for 2026 is sing it, guys. I do not consent. I do not consent. I do not consent in 2026. And yes, we're going to be moving out of Kentucky, and there nobody's going to stop me. Because they can't stand my guts. So they'll look so forward to my moving, right? So anyway, I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. And I know